welcome to Loot Shooter Weekly, which if you're looking at our screen tonight, you're probably like, what the heck? Because this isn't a loot shooter.
No, this is not a loot shooter. Not at all.
It's not a loot shooter. And I'm gamertag Burt Reynolds, and with me tonight, although you cannot see him right now, is my co-host, Negan Killjoy, the golden voice of gaming, one and only.
Hello, Burt. And how are you doing tonight?
Hello, Negan. I'm doing well. Ooh, we got some weird matchup here. I titled tonight's stream, Cryin, Waiting, Hoping, Driving. Because we're waiting this week for new content to come out for several of our favorite games, and it's kind of like an off week. Next week, we get DLC 4 for Borderlands 3. In probably about 2 or 3 weeks, we get Skyscrape mode in Division. And so it leaves us this week kind of just like, messing around, because there's going to be a level cap increase in Borderlands. So not that there isn't fun things to do there, and you and I and Horchata have been running the Guardian takedown lately, and so there's fun stuff to be done there. But any gear we get right now is going to be outclassed by next week. So tonight it's like, well, we might as well do something else. And we talked about playing some Ghost Recon. Again, not that there's nothing to do in the Division 2. There's plenty to do there, but, we have our builds, and there's things we could farm for, I suppose, like some exotics we don't have or anything, but it's not like a necessity. So we decided we would just kick back and do something you can't do in the real world, which is drink a beer and drive a car at the same time.
Right. You absolutely should not be doing this in the real world.
You should not do
absolutely
that.
Not.
Especially not racing. Probably shouldn't be street racing either, which, that's what this game's about. So we're playing Forza Horizon. This is a Game Pass game, so it's one of those ones that, for all of us with Game Pass, we've got it. I will say, Negan and I have differing levels of interest in these sorts of games. So, Negan, you're playing with, what is your input device right now? Out of curiosity?
Controller. It's the Razer Tournament controller.
Yes.
So, the joysticks and the thumbsticks and the trigger buttons and the stuff that gets me going sliding off pretty hardcore.
And I, on the other hand, am driving with a full-on cockpit with 6-speed gearbox. Yeah, I geek out on the racing games. It's the other genre I play, and so I have a pretty decent little setup here with steering wheel, gearbox, pedal set, and makes this game a little bit more, if nothing else, realistic. So we're still going to talk about loot shooters. We're just going to drive around when we do it, and we're going to talk about what we're going to have to drink tonight. So for that, I am going to pull over because I can't actually open my beverage while driving. I'm guessing you can't either, Negan. So that that probably makes it a little challenging. Yeah. So we'll just
just a touch.
We'll just pull on over, park. What did you decide to drive? It looked like a Mustang?
Yes, Mustang GT.
We can talk about what you decided to drive too, I suppose, in a minute. It's your week to go first, Negan. Which is funny because
talk about what I drove.
Yeah, we'll talk about what you drive after we talk about what you've drank. It sounds so wrong, horribly wrong. But it's your week to go first, and this week, you don't sound like you're just like dying over there to get at what you're drinking. So hopefully that's not true. Hopefully you actually are looking forward to what you're having tonight. I
am looking forward to what I'm having tonight. Last couple weeks, it was just, they were in that range of just really exciting kind of beers that I really wanted. I've been removed for being inactive. Nice.
There you go.
So,
I beat you anyway.
Yeah, I would have think so. Anyway, so what I'm doing is a beer from Moonlight Brewing, which is out of Santa Rosa, California. It's called Reality Czech, and it's spelled CZECK. Because it's a Czech-style Pilsner, and they describe it as the most delicate style of Pilsners are the Bohemian Pilsners of the Czech Republic. Those classic beers inspired the West Coast version of delicious. You're only moments away from tasting it. No airplane ride required. So, and I'm trying this one because I go back and forth on Pilsners in general. I find some that I really like and some that I don't like because they get a little in the hoppy range a little bit. And this one was described. They can. This one was described as a lager. So, and I like lagers. So I'm kind of curious what a pilsner described as a lager tastes like. I know what it should. I know what a lager should taste like. I'm kind of curious how this one will taste like. So that is Reality Check. Reality Check pills from Moonlight Brewing is what I'm doing tonight. And so that immediately leads to you. What are you drinking and driving tonight? You're right. That does sound nice.
It just sounds so wrong, right? I am going to have, it's from Odell Brewing Company, which is in Fort Collins, Colorado. You know, I just got back from Colorado a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is their Wit Kissed White. It is a grapefruit white ale.
Oh, there you go.
And I am putting it in a glass, and the glass has a lemon in it. So.
Oh, there you go. Interesting mix. Grapefruit flavored with lemon.
The Witkiss Grapefruit White Ale is a modern take on a Belgian-style white ale with bright aromas of citrus and pureed grapefruit, a delicate spice from dried orange peel and coriander, complex yet delicate, with a clean, refreshing finish. Witkiss brings an unexpected twist on an old tradition. Boom!
There you go.
You know what's funny, though? I mean, I have to say, it. The other one I considered getting, I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do tonight, and I was, going through the make yourself a six-pack, Lucy's, as I call them, right?
Right.
I was like, man, it might be time for Oktoberfest, right? Like,
that's true.
It is, and I was like, nah, it's still summer. I'm not doing that. And then it got all cold. It got all cold here. I'm like, oh man, I should have done that.
So when you say cold, you're obviously not talking the 92 and 72% humidity or like that little nip in the air, or what do you get like when you say cold?
It just got, it's like maybe right now it's like 62 outside.
Nice. Okay.
And so it even more than that, it got like kind of crisp, and we got like a cold breeze. So
cool.
Yeah. So I was like, today, right before this, before this evening when I was sitting outside, I was like, man, I should have done the Oktoberfest. That would have been a good idea.
Yes, definitely. And summer is technically over this weekend. Got a 3-day weekend for most people, but it's technically over as of Monday. It's when everybody says, end of summer right there.
Well, if we're going to get technical about it, not quite yet, right? Calendar-wise. But yes,
right.
The unofficial social end of summer is this weekend. So you are correct.
My kids are either just starting school, they've been in school for about a week. So that's the worst part of, that's what you feel bad for the kids.
Right. Yeah, my kids have been in school for a month. So,
Holy crap.
Illinois, man. That is
crazy.
We start school early here. So I shot you another invite. Okay, so it's got a guideline. So I am driving an Acura RSX, little hot hatch. That's what I chose to do, but it's A-class. I don't know. No particular reason why I chose that car other than just I was tuning it right before we started playing, and so I'm just still in it.
That's right. You get all sorts of series with tuning and sway bars, all that shit, don't you? All that stuff, don't you?
I do. I get all geeked out on it. Now I have, mistakes have been made here because it's winter for whatever reason in your session here. So,
what season was it in yours?
Autumn.
Oh, gotcha.
Of course, this car, well, probably should have like an Audi or something to drive in the snow, right? Subaru, Audi. But
would probably work better than an Acura for sure.
Probably. So with that, though, we should probably talk about some loot shooters since this is Loot Shooter Weekly, and as much fun as it is to drive around and just drive around, it's also good to talk about what's going on. So,
that's right.
Yeah, again, the big news is Psycho Krieg and the something.
Fantastic Fustercluck.
Yep, next Thursday. Level
Next
cap,
Thursday,
we talked
right.
a little bit about it last week. Level caps can go up by 5 points. That really, in Borderlands, that basically represents every level's about 10% in terms of stats that you can get. So that means every weapon will get about a 50% damage boost, meaning anything that you have today is going to be pretty much useless from a weapon standpoint.
Yep.
Yeah. Comms and artifacts, they'll be all right. You'll still be able to use the comms and artifacts you have today. But shields will be, you'll need to replace all your shields. And so again, that really makes sort of farming. Grenades will go up. I think they'll scale a little, but they won't scale. They don't scale quite as much. I don't know. We'll see. Right. I don't know what'll happen with grenades. They haven't always scaled up when the rest of the stuff scaled up, so I don't know.
Right, yeah, they go through a recent buff, like a couple, 3 weeks ago, so they buffed the grenades again, or they buffed them up to do more damage and stuff like that 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So I have no idea what'll happen with that. But certainly, at bare minimum, weapons and shields are going to need to be replaced. And I'm okay with it. You and I have talked. I mean, it kind of sucks, but, it gives something to do. And new DLC, right? And so we'd probably be replacing a lot of stuff anyway, because at least if the pattern goes like the pattern has gone, the stuff in the new DLC will be like the most OP, and you'll want that anyway. So we'd be farming it anyhow. It's not like, yes, we'll have to go back and get all our old favorites and new copies of them and everything, and that, may be an unpleasant experience, but it won't be the worst experience. And, so I think we're okay.
Right. And we did talk about it last week. And the nice thing is that the extra 5 points is pretty significant boost. It definitely opens up a lot of possibilities with builds and stuff like that. So it's not like a little bump. It's pretty significant. So although you have to reform and stuff, it should be fun to put the builds together again.
It should be. And last night when we were running Guardian Takedown, I was lamenting the fact that I really wished I already had those 5 points, because I could really think of how I would have used them last night, and so I am looking forward to it a lot. A lot.
Right. A lot. Okay, cool.
I'm really looking forward to Thursday. I can't really wait. So I got to the destination you set, but you're not here.
I am. I'm sitting right at it, it says. I'm up by Lego Speedway is where I'm up by. Where are you at?
By Lego Speedway. I'm all the way over by the coast.
Got all sorts of stuff on your screen. Holy moly.
All right.
Right there, just north of Lego Speedway.
I'm coming to you. I'll drive over there now. I don't know. The destination is set on my map was all the way over by the coast, where I'm at now.
Oh, I wonder if
this game really needs a social upgrade.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does.
And
I know they made a big deal of that when they released it, or they talked about it. They talked about how the social aspect of it was supposed to be really good, but I've discovered the opposite.
Just hard to connect with your friends, which, considering how easy it is in games, even, games like The Division and Borderlands, it's super easy to connect with friends, right? Like, they're instantly there. It's nice. Right. This is a little struggle bussy. Now, granted, this giant open world full of cars, so I get it, and you're online with a bunch of other people all the time. It's persistently online with other people unless you tell it not to be. So there is a little difference, and I'll give a little grace on that one, but it could be better. That's just mistakes have been made. It could be a little bit better. Yeah. So then the other news, which I was just pretty excited to see, is the Division 2 is getting procedurally generated unlimited level skyscraper mode, which that sounds like fun. Yeah, and that's something we've long complained about, right? Like that we felt like the end game really lacked anything other to do than just do the same, basically 4 things over and over and over again, right? Which is like do missions, do strongholds, do checkpoints. I guess it's really only 3 things. I mean, that's
pretty much missions. Well, the nice thing is the last
DZ.
couple.
That's the 4th.
Yeah, DZ. Exactly. Yeah, but they did do something along the lines of the whole manhunt thing, which you're doing all the same stuff, but at least you have a goal at the end of it, which I just finished. I just finished the whole manhunt thing today, which was kind of fun. But it was the same thing like we talked about before. It is all the same missions. It is all the same checkpoints. So getting the new thing, they're calling it Summit, and apparently it's a 100-story skyscraper.
Mm-hmm.
And you get, obviously, as you climb up the skyscraper, it gets more and more difficult to the point at some point you're on legendary floors, quote unquote. And every 10 floors is a checkpoint.
And a boss fight.
And a boss. I thought every 3 floors was a boss, but every 10 floors for sure.
Every 10 floors, what I read, it was every 10 floors is a boss, and every 10 floors is a checkpoint that is a permanent checkpoint, meaning once you do a climb to 100, you could always start at level 90 and climb to 100 again if you wanted. So it's not like just a temporary checkpoint. It's an always checkpoint. It's kind of cool.
That's good. Yep, and they're saying something to the effect of that each floor is supposed to be like something like stronghold in duration is what they're saying. So it could be quite the struggle, not the struggle bus necessarily, but to go one floor to the next if there are stronghold levels, that's kind of a little bit of a time suck actually.
Yeah, it sounded like it potentially has the capability to be a time suck.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm excited about is that it's just there's something to do that's a little bit more long term, and not just the same handful of things. Because there you are, Negan.
There I am. Hello.
Very pretty Mustang you've got there.
All right. So now that we're together,
and now that it's snowing like crazy,
right? I'm going to follow you since you seem to know where you're going in this place. So so that's cool.
How's that thing handling the snow? Out of curiosity.
Very well. Not very well.
You're not?
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
Mustangs don't do good in the snow?
I know you're surprised, aren't you?
In the driving snow? No? It's weird, man. I would have assumed that was good.
Yeah. The other thing about Division 2 and the whole Summit mode was they're actually including rogues in the mode as well, so you can have rogue encounters while you're doing the Summit.
Okay.
And there was obviously they never tell you for sure, but there is the possibility, or they hinted at, or they kind of smugly said, hunters? We don't know, kind of thing.
Nice.
So it'll be interesting to see if you can run into hunters as well, which would make that a whole. Just having the rogue agents that you can go after is one thing, but having hunters that could pop as well, we could.
Well, that would certainly make it. I know a lot of people were really, a lot of people have hoped for Underground, which obviously this is, I think, the exact same concept in essence, but, above ground. And of course, there were hunters in the Underground. That was one of the big features of it. Now, obviously, in Division 2, they've made hunters something that's tied to collectibles, right? So it's a little different because they each have a mask. And so that, I think really kind of changed the game for hunters. Yeah, so that's exciting. I'm pumped. Looking forward to that. They don't have a timeline, but it is starting on the
PTS this Friday.
Yeah. So, typically with that, I would say, the answer is probably within 1 month at the most is usually how that runs, because it depends on what they find, for issues and whatever else. But if it goes smoothly, and I don't know what else they're testing on the PTS, but, usually from PTS to production, you're looking at about a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be pretty soon. You could be looking at, early to mid-October, which would be great timing, right? Because you figure we'll probably have been through the DLC on all 4 of our tunes in Borderlands, and we'll probably be kind of settled into, routine farming mode, and then that'll hit and give us something to break it up, which would be really nice and exciting.
Well, this is a speed road. I like this road. How do we find this one?
Yeah. What? Oh, it's right smack dab in the middle of the map. This is where
Gotcha.
everybody comes to test their high-speed cars out. Kind of fun. How are you finding driving, Negan? I know it's been a minute for you.
It has been a minute, and I have the same, issues. I mean, the fact that I'm using a joystick to try to drive a car that's pretty sensitive can be a challenge. But once you figure it out and kind of figure out the feather touch on the triggers so you're not flooring it the whole time. Because as you've taught me, when we are doing Forza and stuff like that, you don't want to necessarily have it to the pedal to the metal the whole time.
No, I mean, you obviously wouldn't drive your real car with the gas pedal on the floor all the time, right?
No,
I'm
definitely.
guessing. I don't know.
Well,
you're in California. Drivers are bad there. Things are different.
I don't know. I don't know if we're bad. We're just, we're fast.
Oh
You've
yeah.
done
Yeah,
long-term racing circuits and stuff like that, right?
I have. Yeah. Yeah, I've done. Well, not really in Horizon, because Horizon's more just casual and fun. But in actual Forza, I've competed in many a tournament, and I even at one time did 24 hours at Le Mans on a team where did a real 24-hour race in 4-hour shifts, against other teams.
Nice.
So I've done some stuff, and I play Project Cars and then Assetto Corso, and I've got a whole bunch of driving games, Dirt, WRC. I mean, yeah.
And Project Cars is
I like driving.
PS4, right? Or PS5, PS4?
No, Project Cars is Xbox as well. I mean, it's both. It's cross-platform.
And that's hardcore simulation, right? That gets into really some deep end simulation stuff, doesn't it?
I don't know. I would argue that regular Forza's at least the same level of hardcore. I don't think there's any. I wouldn't say they're slightly different, but not like really different. And maybe it's a little more organized, just in that it's. Where did you go?
Well, I tagged you on us. I was north of you, but I just put the direction on you, so it should lead me to you.
Okay. Oh, there you are. You're at the other end. It's a little different in that it's a little bit more focused on just race cars. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really, and Assetto Corso is the same. There's a whole bunch of, pretty high-end racing games, racing sims. Forza has become a pretty high-end racing sim, but you still have regular cars, and you can, tune them and stuff like that. That's lacking in something like Project Cars is like real race series, right? So like all the cars are already modded all the way to being race cars. You know what I mean? So it depends on what you want. Like, if you want a simulator that's got a really good representation of like the GT2 class in American Le Mans series, and you want to run the American Le Mans series season, that's your game. You can do that in Forza. They have those cars, but you could also just run like an open A class racing series where it's, anything in A class, run what you brung, right? Run your own tunes, run your own everything, you just bring whatever you want. I prefer that a little bit, and actually think that's a more accurate representation of what most people would experience in racing, right? Because, in like American Le Mans series, right, there's 60 drivers.
Right. Holy crap.
In the world, that are running that, right? And those 60 people will be in it for the next, 5 to 10 years, probably. Some of them even longer. So it's not like a ton of people will ever experience that, right? That's top echelon stuff. But anybody can buy a Miata and go to their local track and run in, SCCA racing, which is run what you brung, and gotcha. So that's what most people would ever experience in real life of racing, right? Not everybody's Dale Earnhardt Jr. Most
No,
people just
definitely
get to
not.
go to a local track and just run.
That's
Maybe
absolutely right.
run the car they own, or whatever. Maybe they've got a little weekend toy they're playing around with or something. But that's usually what most people experience. So I like that about Forza. But originally Forza was less focused in sim in that it didn't have like all the rules. Like racing is a lot of rules, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you bump people, you get a black flag, and you have to like go into the pits and sit for 30 seconds. And, like Forza didn't used to have any of that, but they've added all of that. So now it has all the race sim stuff. So,
I guess I'll
and a
give
lot
that
of
a look.
NASCAR drivers actually use it as a training bed for off season, which is usually the good mark of is something a good sim. Used to be
One would think.
all of them ran iRacing. Now a lot of them run Forza. So
I think
there's
you ran the other
Negan.
way. Where
No,
are you
I'm
at?
right behind. I'm right behind you.
Oh, okay.
I'm sneaking up on you.
Thought I saw you shoot past me a second ago.
I may have challenged you to a race. Oh, Negan did not accept my challenge.
Oh, did it even come up? I didn't even see it.
It should come up at the top of your screen. I'll do it
Oh.
again.
So even in speaking of racing and stuff in real life, if I recall correctly, somebody in this conversation, not me, has actually done some real life racing.
I have much like I was talking about earlier, just casually. I don't have anything, so I challenge you again. There should be something
Oh,
at the
there
top
it
of your
is.
screen asking you. Yep. I don't anymore, but I have. I've had a few, fun cars over the years, and
That's
I
how you've
know
been
I'm in.
ripping.
It says I'm in first place. You better get moving, buddy. I don't anymore have a car. Now I just have a classic car. and
Right.
it is not fast. So there's no racing anymore. And I think I'll call it I outgrew it, which is really, code for the fact that I have kids and I have 4 kids. So I took a vow of poverty, which means no more toys like that.
Mm-hmm.
And need to be safe. I also gave up motorcycle riding, same thing. And I have, I've ridden when I had motorcycles, I've ridden my motorcycle on Road America a few times, and I've taken cars around it. That's about 3 hours north of here, which is pretty famous, classic American racetrack. So yeah, I've been there, Gingerman, a whole bunch of the Midwest tracks, Blackhawk
Nice. Very
Farms.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whoa.
I love me some racing. Love me some racing, love me some driving. I like cars. And some of my kids are starting to get into it, which is cool.
That's cool.
Not into racing, but are starting to get into cars. My son Gabe he plays this quite a bit, my second oldest. He recreated my 2004 Mitsubishi Evolution that I used to have. White, no wing, RS model. They have the wheels I used to have on it in here. So he recreated it exactly, and he drives around in it and takes
cool.
pictures of it because he thinks that's like we have some pictures of it upstairs on our computer, and he's seen them, and so he thinks it's pretty cool that I have the same car that I used to have.
So what else on? I'm going to check the state of the game and stuff like that real fast. They're also talking about improving, not changing PvP so much right now, I don't think. But they did talk about, other stuff like that. So Summit was the big deal. They're going to nerf some stuff. I guess MMRs they're looking at nerfing, if I recall correctly.
The other thing we didn't talk about is there's some significant weapon buffs in BL3 today. 3 guns got buffed.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
The Hellwalker, I think, might have become the best shotgun in the game now. You can one-tap any red bar in that game on Mayhem 10 with that gun.
Really? I did
Like,
not know that.
any. There's
And that's
that's
a significant buff, right? Because people weren't even talking about Hell Walker with stuff.
450% buff.
Damn.
It got a 400 and it's maybe more than that. It went from 4,000 damage to 16,000 damage a pellet.
Dang.
So
Crazy.
from 4,000 times 10 to 16,000 times 10. That's a big buff.
Yes, it is.
And then they buffed the Breath of the Dying, which was already a pretty good gun, and made it 3 times more powerful than it was. And they buffed the Chaos, which is another dual assault rifle, and they made that 4 times more powerful than it was. So literally they created 3 new A or S tier guns in one patch. That's
nice.
pretty cool. Yeah. And I've played with all of them a little bit today, and they are all fun. All of them are fun. Especially fun on Amara and Zane. And the Hellwalker's amazing on flak, on a Gamma Burst flak. A 5150 Hellwalker just wrecks on Gamma Burst flak. I mean, again, just run around the map, 1-tap everything, and like 3-tap a boss. It's craziness. Yeah, so that is the news. So we are basically waiting, though. I mean, I think that's the real message, right? We're biding our week. Next week we'll be in Borderlands 3. A couple weeks from now we'll be in Division 2 whenever we actually find out. I don't know when they'll finally tell us, but I assume sometime soon. And until then, we just kind of bide our time this week, and I think we'll probably run some more takedown next couple days, I would assume. But in the
back
meantime,
down to real takedown mode now. Not easy buttons anymore. All some hard modifiers going in there now.
Right. But we got buff guns.
That's true. That's very true. Oh yeah, and corrosive buff guns. Breath of the Dying. Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's sort of fun.
They also talked about increasing the orb size of Breath of the Dying. What does that mean? You know what that means?
So when Breath of the Dying is a weird gun, right? Because it's normal bullets till you kill something, and then big splody green globs come out, almost like the gargoyle. The gargoyle fires those all the time, and they go in a radial circle around the thing that you killed. So they come out of whatever you killed, spokes on a wheel. And that's what deals splash damage. So if you get one with like a splash damage anointment, only those orbs deal splash damage. But they were kind of small, and that's what always downs you, by the way. If you're trying to think of, why does the Breath of the Dying always kill me? That's why it always kills you.
Yes, had that issue before.
Yeah. So they made those orbs much bigger, so they're easier to see, so that you're not, perplexed by them. Like, I'm like, what is that little tiny thing? And all of a sudden I'm dead, Now they're big and they're obvious, so like you can see them, and they deal way more splash damage than they used to. So pretty cool. So how are you feeling about your beer?
Concentrate on driving. I haven't really drank that much of it, but what I have had of it, it's pretty good. It's got the bitterness of the Pilsner for sure. It definitely has that bitterness, but it's pretty smooth. It's actually going down pretty nicely when I take a break on driving and take a drink. Like now, do you look at me.
Do you like pills? Are you a pills kind of guy?
Generally,
I feel like you 50, said you 50. Were not big on Pilsners.
Not usually.
Because I think I reviewed one at one point, and you were like, yeah, I'm not a big Pilsner guy.
Yeah, I'm really not. The ones that I have had have been too bitter, so they're not terribly enjoyable to me. But this one, it has the bitterness, but it has the smoothness of a lager, so it's not bad. Pilsners probably give it a 7 or so out of, as far as my enjoyment of Pilsners go, but as beer in general, probably maybe a 5 or so. I don't know if I'd go out and try to track it down anytime soon, but if it was there, I don't think I would necessarily.
You wouldn't say no to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to it. I wouldn't.
So, like, if you stopped at my house and I offered you one, you'd accept it.
Yes, I'd accept it. And generally speaking, if I'm at somebody's house, it's always a good idea, and I found this to be true across the board, is if they have a beer that they like, and they suggest you drink it, even if it's something you don't normally drink, it's always a good chance to give it a shot. Because for a couple
I
reasons.
don't disagree with that.
Yeah, one, you get the idea of what get exposed to stuff that you wouldn't normally expose yourself to. But when it comes to gift giving, then you know what they like. So you know you have a style that they like. So you can always kind of cheat and remember that type of beer and think, okay, well, they like that one, and this one's in the same vein. So
I like that. That's a very hospitable thing to do.
Absolutely.
Good hospitality there. That's nice, man.
And speaking of hospitality, I know that you're a hospitable kind of guy. How about your beer? How'd your grapefruit wit beer go?
It's actually really good. It doesn't have a very strong grapefruit taste to it. I mean, it has a definite, kind of citrus bitterness. But I guess, one, I put a lemon in it. Because I made the mistake last week, you may remember I did a wit beer last week, and it was mango, and it didn't taste like anything. And then I was like, man, I wish I'd put a lemon in it.
Yes.
So
disappointed
I put
with
a
it last
lemon
week
in
a
this
little bit.
one. But I did take a sip out of the can. I don't know if you saw it right before I poured it. And so I tried it with and without the lemon. It's not that different, but this one definitely has the grapefruit taste. So it's not like last week's mango one where I was like, perceive any mango here. It's not like that. It definitely has a grapefruit taste. This is probably the fifth wheat beer I've reviewed, white beer, whatever. I'm gonna put this one squarely in like third place. I think my all-time favorite is actually Alaska Brewing's white ale. That one's got to be my favorite. My second favorite is Allagash. And I would probably put this in third and then Oberon in fourth. I love Allagash. Allagash is just a good quality white beer.
Yes,
so yeah,
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean it's a classic. I did a review on it a little while ago, and it's just a classic, right? Like it's almost ubiquitous, right? More even than, I suppose not anymore, but when I think of wit beer, that's Allagash White is what I immediately think of. Although, again, I will say, I think Alaska Brewing actually has done a better job with the same style, but it's kind of a clone, and I think they've just kind of perfected it. But I know most people often think of Blue Moon. I'm not a big Blue Moon fan.
Okay.
So that would be, that I think of as kind of, that's like probably the most famous, wit beer.
Yeah, I actually enjoy Blue Moon. It's one of my favorites. It's a good.
Really?
I like it. Yeah, it's a good, refreshing kind of drink. So.
I've never been a big Blue Moon fan. Never been a big Blue Moon fan.
Now I need to judge you harshly these days. I tell you. But I know now.
But I would put. I don't know. I used to like Blue Moon before they got bought up. I feel like the quality has gone down since they got bought out.
Oh, okay.
But I would put this in third or fourth place of all the wit beers I've ever had. I would put this in third or fourth place. It does have an excellent taste to it.
Good. And you said you put it above Oberon? Because Oberon's one of your favorite beers, I thought.
Oberon is one of my favorite beers, but then I had that Oberon Mango last week, and I was disappointed in it, which somehow has lowered my opinion of Oberon overall, I think, at this point.
Gotcha. Okay. Always a possibility.
It's hard. I guess, again, when I think about... So if we say Allagash is my favorite, which it is. If we say Allagash... Well, I would say Alaskan's my favorite. Allagash is my second favorite, but they're very close, right? And I like both of those the most because they have a very distinctive... You can taste the coriander and you can taste the citrus peel in them, very strongly. Especially if you take your can of Allagash and swirl it around upside down first, to mix it. And I do the same when I get the Alaskan, but the Alaskan's only seasonal. They have that very strong taste. It's got a nice, definitive taste. Oberon is a little less spicy and a little less complex. And then Blue Moon's like the most vanilla of the bunch. It's just... If you're looking for like just easy drinking summer beer, Blue Moon's good, but it doesn't have a very distinctive, like, spicy taste to it. This has a very citrusy, spicy taste to it, which I think is what I like about it, and why I would put it over Oberon.
Oh, okay.
And then I would put in square last Mango Oberon, because that didn't taste like anything. It just tastes like Oberon with a weird, like, sort of gym sock taste.
Kind of weird aftertaste to it.
Yeah. I don't know, mango-y gym socks in there somewhere.
All right, so cool. So a couple good, decent beers. Like I said, mine's not, of all the beers I've had, 5 out of 10. But a good Pilsner if you're out looking for Pilsners. Czech Republic, or excuse me, Reality Czech, not Czech Republic. That'd be great.
If you're in Czechoslovakia this weekend, that's an excellent choice. Czech Republic, right there.
Yes, exactly. The Bohemian style. So, but I don't think I'm going there this weekend. I think I'm going to stay. You're not going there this weekend? No.
Right.
We're going to stay and enjoy my air-conditioned house because we're going through another heat wave this week.
Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's why
it's a good beer good beer to have on tap for the weekend for you then.
Yes, that. And I also have some of the citrus, the Cali Squeezes. Those are also on tap, so we should be fine. I should be able to survive, 100 plus degree weather. Nice.
Yeah, good. Like I said, it's going to be cold here this weekend, so I'll be going back to stout. No. I'm not. I'm just kidding. But a couple good beers. And mine, again, is called Whit-Kissed White from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Nice. All right. We talked about Borderlands. We got the guns out of the way. We talked about Division.
So I think we've covered everything, and I think, we'll just keep trying, waiting, hoping, and driving until we have some new Borderlands content next week.
Hoping and driving. That's right. Kind of excited to see how they pull it off. Kind of looking forward to the Flustercluck. Flustercluck, I think is what they're calling it.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I like the concept. I like Krieg.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll... and we just know that Gearbox does a great job with story DLC. Plain and simple, they do a fantastic job with story DLC. They've introduced, in this, I will say, like, DLC 2, introduced, I think, my favorite character in this generation of Borderlands, which is Mancubus. Yeah. And the dialogue lines around him are like some of the best dialogue games in the entire game. So I'm expecting that this will be very funny and fun, and we'll have some good dialogue. The Lodge.
Yes. I just third person name. Everything's alive to him.
Yes. Well, and Zane, when Zane meets him, creepy man. You are a creepy man.
Creepy man. That's right.
That's the best. And then every time he sees him from there on out, every time you come back to Lodge, he says, something, there you are, creepy man, or how are you doing, creepy man? It's great. It's great. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this next DLC, and it'll be a lot of fun and funny.
Yeah, well.
Again, funny. So.
Yeah, they're talking about Mobius train, and they have, I think I saw in the trailer was catapults and stuff. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm looking forward to it as well. Like you said, they've done some good DLCs, so I'm looking forward to it as well.
It'll be fun. It'll be very fun. Well, with that, Negan, I think we can sign off for the night. We'll get some rest this week. We'll rest up and be ready for next week when we get there. Unveil it.
That's right. Exactly. All right. In that case, then see ya.